Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife, and since October is Bully Awareness Month, I figured I would tell you guys my story about being bullied and how it changed my life. So when I was born with something called a cleft lip and palate. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, you can kind of take a look at this chart over here, and it kind of shows you three different versions. You have a normal lip, which is what most of you probably have. Then you have a unilateral cleft lip, and then you have a bilateral cleft lip. Now, you can also be born with something called a cleft palate as well, which affects you the exact same way, but on the inside of the mouth. And as you can see in this chart right here, you can kind of get an idea for what that looks like on the inside of the mouth. Now, as you can probably imagine, being a kid who looked different and having scars on his face in school was very difficult. I had kids who picked on me, they teased me, they made fun of the way that I looked. It got so bad to where I didn't want to go to school. I made up illnesses. I pretended to be sick a lot. I was just tired of going to school in fear. And it all came to a head one day in middle school. I was just finishing up gym class, and we were sitting in the locker area after we had gotten changed, and we were getting ready for the next class, or the bell to ring for us to go to the next class. Now, while I was sitting there, a kid slapped me in the back of the neck. And when he did this, I turned around and I said something to him. And then as soon as I did, a group of kids stood up and moved over to where he was. Now, when they did that, I was pretty much aware that I was probably going to get beat up by all of these kids now, and that's exactly what happened. Once the bell rang and we walked outside, they started beating on me. They stabbed me with pencils, they kicked me in the face, they broke my glasses, I had cuts all over my face, they hit me with books and book bags, and two teachers stood there and watched the entire thing happen. They watched me get beaten for 5 minutes straight. And the reason I know it was 5 minutes is because the time in between the bells was 5 minutes apart. And they started beating me when the first bell rang for class to be out, and they didn't stop beating me until the next bell rang for us to be inside the next class. Now, I laid there bleeding, and I guess the reason that the teachers didn't break it up was because there was some type of a rule in school that they were not allowed to intervene in fights because of lawsuits that were going on. So they had to wait for the officer on site to break up the fight, which unfortunately for me, that officer was on the other side of campus breaking up another fight. Now, as I laid there bleeding, a friend of mine who was late to the class showed up, and he picked me up and he helped walk me to the nurse, the school nurse. And he handed me a card, and that card was for karate. And I'll never forget this. He said, "You need this." Now, I never would have thought this, but the kindness of that one person, the one friend that I really had, changed my entire life. Now, up to this point, my mom wouldn't allow me to do any sports because she was worried that I would get hurt. She's worried that I'd have to go back through surgeries if I got any impact to the face. So she was worried I'd get hit with a baseball. She's worried I'd get hurt during a football. So she didn't want me to do any sports until I asked for this. And as soon as I asked for this, she actually gave this to me the very next month as a birthday gift. Now, since that day, over 22 years has gone by, and I have been able to do martial arts full-time as a career. I've been able to help other people. I've been able to teach anti-bully seminars. I've been able to go travel around the world and do martial arts, which is a dream. And it didn't happen simply because of the bullying. It happened because one person saw that I was in need and walked over and helped me up and dusted me off. Now, the moral of all this is pretty simple. Just go be nice to somebody. If you're in school and you notice that somebody's being picked on and alienated, go talk to them, be a friend to them. If you're in the office, somebody's brand new, go be a friend, introduce yourself, make them more comfortable where they are. You have the ability to affect not only that person's life, but all the other people that that person's going to affect in their life. So my challenge to you is to go out during this month, at least just this month. I would hope you do it all the time, but even just this month, go out and every day in the month of October, go do something good for another human being. And you will be amazed at how rewarding and fulfilling and how much of this world you can affect in a positive way. Keep the martial arts legit.